And I was just curious to know, Anna, what it was like when you first would come here, when you were living here, and how the road was, and how many people were on it. Was it paved then?
No, it wasn't paved. And the road was all right. Rainy weather, a little bit iffy. I believe at one time Indians pushed our car up the hill to get us home. 13 of them jumped out of the car and pushed our car up. Metcalfs were right next door to us, and Courvilles were in behind. And who lived over at...
Bill Cox.
Yeah, Bill Cox and Mona Cox.
This is bench lines.
Right.
They did the legal survey, it was over top of this piece that I bought. And so it's really confusing because there's the seigneurial system, there's the Indian Reserve, and then there's the legal survey that go over top, all of the same place. And so it's, it's got all these different survey markers that run through it. I think it's good as is. I think if it was ever improved, the improvements can be minimal. We can take out a few corners, like I did some stuff down in the corner by the barn down there. It could be a bit more of that kind of work done, maybe widen it out a bit in the corners. But I think part of the charm of the place is the road is, the road is the way it is, and if you improve the road, then you end up with other things that are maybe not net improved. I don't, but Spray Lakes has a timber license in there, and they've notified me, because I have the lease up in there, that they're gonna log in there. So I would really like to convince Spray Lakes that what we should do is they'll build, I think they'll plan to extend Jamieson Road straight west to get to the logs, and my preference is they do something a lot smaller and go around and have a one-way road, and I'd make my land available to them if they wanted, that they could have a one-way road and get out of there and not make it such a big road as they might find. So there were quite a few buildings there, and there's a water system in there and a bunch of stone foundations, 2 or 3 different stone foundations as you go up the hill. And I talked to some of the Indians about saving that building before it fell down, but it actually was a building that had really negative sort of feelings in the native community, so they didn't want anything done to sort of memorialize it. They wanted it to fall down, so we just let it go. There's trails, so there's a ford down between benchlands that comes almost through your place, I think.
Yes.
And so there's a ford that the Indians used to go
Yes.
across there. We used to ride back and forth along that when we were kids. And then I think that road went actually probably south through Maria Dunkeys and got to Morley somehow through there. And and then there are trails back in the lease land, because that used to have, that was a big logging operation, I think in the 20s with Richards, had a sawmill up in there. And so there's still buildings up in the lease where, like there's log cabins that are falling down up in there where they had the sort of logging operation. And there's all kinds of trails for the logging operation up there. And that used to be all Douglas fir up there, so it was like, when they cut, there were big trees up in there,
Yes.
like 4 feet down, and they're all, there's still evidence of the trees and the trails to get to them. Yeah, I mean, I think people followed the contours to the extent they could, so all these roads, you look at them, it's like the way an animal walks, it's along the lowest energy route to the end, so they're all following the, natural contours. And, that's what we're trying to do with the roads over there, because we think it looks better when you're finished with it if you do it that way, and it's more pleasant. They don't want to be at war when they do it, so I think if you approach them in the right way, most of these people want to, they want to be friends and good neighbors, and you just have to not try and drive them crazy, but try and get what you want.